Today I worked on building exactly, really specifically, how a student will learn in SpaceWise, which is my space learning platform that will teach space science, rocket science, math, physics, and it's optimized for learning. I'm thinking exactly, really specifically, how is the information going to be presented to the student? What questions, what buttons are there going to be there? What is the order of information? How much information am I going to put in one lesson or in one part of the lesson? It's those little micro things that, if joined together, make a big difference on the learning outcome and the mastery of a concept and of a topic of the student. And I'm not a professional. I don't really know learning science, but I'm learning and I'm going to show you the process that I'm doing to build this thing and learn at the same time. So let's get to it. When the information enters the brain, the app is going to show a small basic notion of the concept at first. So imagine there's a page, that the student will go into. On this page, the first thing that I'm planning to put there is a basic notion of the concept. Then, after this, the student will go through some processing, which is this thing. In this step, the information will be encoded. It will be processed somehow by asking questions, by using specific learning techniques. I'm gonna help the student to think about the information in a certain way that helps retention, helps understanding, and it's not just memorizing. It's not rote memorization. It's having a deep understanding and understanding the why of things, not just understanding a formula and how to use it, understanding why that formula works. That way retention is so much better, and understanding, of course, so much better. The conceptual understanding of this formula will be so valuable to be able to use it with many other aspects in life, many other concepts, and relate it to other formulas as well on the same topic or on different topics, which is very valuable because to be a master at something, there has to be an interconnected web of concepts, of relationships, of knowledge. That's what I'm trying to do here. And of course, while I'm doing this, I'm trying to learn this science at the same time. While I'm trying to build this, I get many questions, in my head. Not apparently at first. I need to be aware of them. I need to look for them, actively. I need to be introspective and realize, what am I trying to decide between? What is my doubt right now? What am I doubting? And most of the time, I'm trying to decide between, should I do this or should I do that? I'm having a hypothesis, an idea of what I could do. And sometimes I just get blocked and I don't realize that idea because of fear of failure or fear of not getting it right, something like that. But I'm able to push through and force myself to just do it, just move forward. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, just move forward, because that's the actual thing that will make me ask more questions to myself, get more information, think more about the system, which is important. So okay, once I get a question and I'm aware of it, or once I get this specific feeling, or no, actually this vague feeling that I'm doubting something, I don't know what to do, I'm deciding between some things. Once I get that feeling, I'm gonna note down the questions. This is not it, this is it. Note down the questions. As you see over here, I've got some questions that I noted down today. Here I've got another big question that I will explain right now what I did here and how it helped me so much to get a better understanding of what I'm gonna do in learning science. But the important part is to define them. Define what am I actually doing, because after I define it, I can play around with it. I'm not anxious of forgetting it. I can decide, is this question worth thinking about? Is this question worth making a hypothesis? Or is it better if I just ask AI this question, and I get an answer instantly? Most of the time, I want to think about it first to be able to learn better. So let me explain the process that I followed here. This is a pretty big question that I said. How do you process questions to achieve mastery in learning science in a topic, basically? And here there's another opportunity to get blocked, to not be able to do anything. But I just say, I'm going to push through, I'm going to make hypotheses, I'm going to hypothesize a lot, I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to try, I'm going to experiment, I'm just going to write, and I wrote. Oh yeah, I wrote. First of all, I just started by the beginning. I started by what I already know and making a hypothesis on what could be the process towards having a question and then going and then learning that, turning that question into knowledge, into interconnected knowledge, into mastery of a concept, of a topic. And then as I'm explaining, I'm trying to think critically about this question, I'm gonna get more questions. So here, I've got another doubt. I had more questions here, more questions and more questions. And after each question, I try to think more about it. And that generates more information, that generates more knowledge in my head. Now I can, when I finish this, because I haven't finished yet, but when I finish this kind of reflection, we could say, I'm gonna chuck this into AI and see what I thought wrong, what are my gaps in my knowledge, and then I will fill those gaps. And this process is so much better than just having a question, chucking it into AI, reading the detailed as hell answer that I'm not going to apply, I'm not going to process, I'm not going to do anything with it, then just forgetting everything. And when I'm building this, I actually want to understand, so I can modify the system, I can add more things, remove things, I can actually understand what I'm doing. And not just for the building, I just want to learn, I want to understand learning science because it's also a topic that I'm passionate about, I'm interested in. So I want to learn that as well. So I haven't defined it yet, this whole thing, but I'm getting there. I'm learning a bit more, I'm making hypotheses, and it's going a bit slower than usual because I'm actually trying to learn it. I'm trying to process the information. That is why it goes a bit slower. Because I could just ask all of my questions to AI, get the best answer, the best, it could not be the best because AI could be wrong about learning science, but it's probably right about most things. But even I don't want that. I just want to learn it as much as to the best of my ability. And I want to develop my process of not knowing how to do something and just learning, just doing it, just finding a way to do what I don't know what to do, And that is, I think, a very important skill to have. Either way, this is for when a new piece of information enters the brain. Now, this is another part of the micro lesson, which is going to be 10 to 15 minutes, teaching a concept or two. And I'm going to have an interactive animation after I've taught the concept or this information, Interactive animation so that the student plays around with it. He can change values and a visual graph appears and when kind of like brilliant. And I also want to provide guidance, learning guidance. So it's not just an animation there and that's it. After playing around with the animation, I would want the student to answer some questions or to note down some gaps or some doubts or some questions that the student has. Provide some direction towards this animation. And then I'm going to incorporate testing technique. A testing technique is a learning technique, which would be just creating questions, answering questions, a quiz, explaining something to a 5-year-old, just anything that tests the knowledge of the student and what they have learned this lesson so that they find gaps in their knowledge, they find weak points, and they can turn those weak points into strong points and fill those gaps. It's important to be aware, to be really aware of them. I think that is called metacognition, and it's really important to then fill those gaps and achieving mastery on that topic. That is mainly what I did today, but I also worked a little bit on my personal systems. So I tried to define my own learning system, which I'm following, to be able to know specifically what I'm doing and be able to change some variables of my learning system to see how it impacts the outcome, trying to optimize it and define what I currently do for my learning techniques. So as you see over here, we've got the learning system. It's not done yet, but it is going. I have the pre-study, which is the study session where I go at one topic really broadly. I don't go into details. My goal here is to get a big picture understanding of the whole topic, go really broad and thin in terms of detail. This is important to then add more detail in the future and know exactly where these pieces of detail are located in the topic, So if we have a formula about something, about some concept, if I have already a structure and a framework to think about this topic, I know exactly, or I kind of know where I can put this formula in my head, in my map of this concept. So the main idea is this one, like I ask keywords to AI about the topic, I run the keywords into the canvas. The goal here is doing a mind map. I'm gonna create the main chunks, which is a really, really important part to doing this, which is just grouping the keywords together in a way that's logical and that makes sense. And this kind of grouping requires high order thinking, which is really good for learning, for retention, for creating this map, this network of knowledge. But don't listen to me. I don't know almost anything about this. I'm not really sure, so don't listen to me. That's what I'm doing right now. I might be wrong. Then I'm gonna label the chunks in a way that's simple and easy to remember. I'm gonna create the main backbone, which means I'm gonna take the biggest groups of keywords and I'm gonna try to find relationships between them. I'm gonna try to make a logic out of it. So how is this group related to this group? And how do they fit in the big picture? If this and this join together create this other thing, and that is a logic that I can remember easily, then it's going to be much easier in the future to add detail, as I said. And then I'm going to add subchunks, which means add a little bit more detail in layers. So within these big chunks, there are going to be smaller chunks, and I can add them. Then I'm going to, every time I add a chunk, I'm going to think of relationships. How does this chunk relate to all of the other things in my map? And that is the main idea. There's some other things, but I haven't yet defined them fully. That's basically it for right now, and what I'm gonna do now is show you the clips, the videos that I've been recording throughout the day, where I'm just sharing my thoughts, I'm sharing what I eat, I'm just sharing more personal stuff about life, about my routine, and all of that. So I'll see you in a second. I'll start with a time lapse, I think, of me working. Let's go. Alright, so I have finished working. It's 9:33 a.m. Today I go to school a bit later, so if we go over here, you see it. Now I need to meditate. Oh crap, I'm a bit late, but I need to meditate for 20 minutes, and gratitude, I'll do it in the afternoon. Then I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna, well, be at school, then cook my meals, eat, go to the gym. I'm gonna have a really hard workout for the upper body. I'm gonna destroy it. Then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna continue what I was doing here of the learning flow, basically this reflection. I'm just learning. I'm thinking. I'm trying to process information. I have many questions that I'm curious about, and I'm trying to answer them myself with the knowledge that I have about learning science. I'm making assumptions, making hypotheses, and maybe not assumptions. Yeah, I'm making hypotheses about many things. I'm trying to understand. I'm wrapping my head around many concepts of learning science. I'm trying to create a flow, create the flow of learning. And if when I show the information to the student, what is going to happen? And like when I have a question and I want to process it, how do I do it? What exactly do I do? So I'm doing a hypothesis here. Maybe I should relate it first to the big picture. Maybe that's right, maybe that's not, but I think it is. And then I just reflected much more and thought critically about more questions that I had, and I feel free to just note the questions down. Like any question that I have, I'm gonna note it down, I'm gonna write it down, and then I can choose, do I think about it critically, or is it not worth it? Is it worth it to put it into AI and then process that answer? Yeah. Okay, anyways, I don't have time to explain all of this. I already explained this in theory in the beginning of the video, and yeah, I record these explanations at the end, so I don't exactly know what I said, but I'm gonna meditate right now. That's the only thing I know. Let's go. Yo, just came back. Let's see the meal. So I just cooked this. It's chicken breast cooked with onions, tomatoes, and butter. It's kind of like, there's some good liquid here, but I love it. I like it like this. Probably doesn't have the best aspect, but I don't care. I love the flavor. It has a lot of protein, lots of fats. That's what matters. So we have some peanuts and onion that I've been eating while I cooked, and I've also got some eggs over here cooking for dinner. So again, same thing every single day, but I'm gonna get this done and then I'm gonna go to the gym. So So let's get it going. Let's see, because it's raining like crazy, but it is where it is. Yo, what's up? So I came back from the gym actually a while ago. So I came back at 6, right now it's 9, it's 10. So I was listening to a podcast while I came back. I just stayed there and listened to a podcast with my cat, and then I slept with my cat a little bit because I was really tired. I wanted to sleep, so I just said, bro, I'm gonna sleep and then I'm gonna wake up with much more energy to be able to record and have dinner and plan and edit. Because if I didn't go to sleep right now, I would be with such a low energy, and I would probably fall asleep anyways, like either way. So yeah, I made that decision. Probably was the best decision to watch this podcast, because I could have worked a little bit more, but it is where it is. I I don't regret it, but I could have made a different choice. Now I'm going to have dinner or record, not sure yet, but we'll see. And then I'm gonna, do what I have here. Today was an interesting day. I mean, I had a really good workout. It was upper body today. I did 2 chest exercises. It was bench press and the chest press. One is vertically, one is horizontally. I also did 2 back exercises, the assisted pull-up, to really feel the lats in the back, instead of letting all of my arms do the work. And then also lat pull downs, just like this. And then I also did some shoulder press. I also did some bicep and some tricep. And that's basically it. Yeah. Pretty good workout. Oh yeah, and at the end I ran for like 5 minutes. I was in zone 5. Did zone 5 cardio. So like I ran like crazy to push myself hard and to finish the workout really well. So unfortunately my cat is terminally ill. He's really bad. I don't know if he will make it tomorrow. There is little hope, but I mean, it is what it is. If he dies, he dies. Can't do anything about it. And that's how life is. That's how nature is. If there's a virus and can't be cured, then it is what it is. So I'm gonna record. Let's go. And I'll see you with the dinner in a second. Here we've got the meal. As always, 12 eggs with sardines for the protein, for the fats, for the omega-3. If you have some salad, just tomatoes and onions with a bit of salt. If you have some peanuts for the calories and for the fats as well. I'm gonna get this done and I'll see you on the next day, because after this I'm gonna edit and I'm gonna go to sleep. Let's go. Bye bye.